Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Close the door. Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Janarandana Yasodanandana Braja Janarandana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Ballabha Girivardhari Gopijana Ballabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Janarandana Yasodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivijagacharya Astatarasata Sri Mother's Divine Grace Desi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gaur Pimanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya There's a special nice feeling about finishing a chapter. We're going to finish a chapter today. Yay! The four Kumaras are offering prayers to Lord Narayana at the gates of Vaikuntha. We heard yesterday They were feeling very humbled by their offense. And we heard that the gatekeepers, they also made an offense in one sense. In another sense, they didn't. But they made an offense, so they were pointing out the offense. But their response to what the gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay, did was excessive. It was harsh. It was inappropriate. It was offensive. So they were ready to accept any reprimand, anything that Lord Narayan was wanting to give to them. They just had one request. They could always stay in devotional service. And specifically, the elements of hearing, speaking, and being in that mood of service. So we heard about King Chitraketu and others that also had some curse, and they were okay. They just wanted, so they're not going to be cursed. It's just the opposite. As the devotees, the four Kumaras, are humbled, wait till you hear the Lord's humility. This is the nature of Vaikuntha. So now here's the concluding prayer. O Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your eternal form as the personality of Godhead, which you have so kindly manifested before us. Your supreme eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons. But we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it. Purport. The four sages were impersonalists in the beginning of their spiritual life, but afterwards, by the grace of their father, who was their father? Lord Brahma, we heard. And spiritual master Brahma, they understood the eternal spiritual form of the Lord and felt completely satisfied. In other words, the transcendentalists who aspire to the impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma are not fully satisfied and still hanker for more. Even if they are satisfied in their minds, still, transcendentally their eyes are not satisfied. But as soon as such persons come to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are satisfied in all respects. In other words, they become devotees and want to see the form of the Lord continually. It is confirmed in Brahma Samhita that one who has developed transcendental love of Krishna by smearing his eyes with the ointment of love sees constantly the eternal form of the Lord. The particular word used in this connection, anatmanam, signifies those who have no control over the mind and senses and who therefore speculate and want to become one with the Lord. There's a few people out there like that. For the impersonalists and the so-called yogis, the Lord is always hidden by the curtain of Yogamaya. Bhagavad Gita says that even when Lord Krishna was seen by everyone while he was present at the surface of the earth, the impersonalists and so-called yogis could not see him because they were devoid of devotional eyesight. The theory of the impersonalists and so-called yogis is, get ready, this is poison, that the Supreme Lord assumes a particular form when he comes in touch with Maya, although actually he has no form. This very conception of the impersonalists and so-called yogis check them from seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is. The Lord, therefore, is always beyond the sight of such non-devotees. The four sages felt so much obliged to the Lord that they offered their respectful obeisances unto Him again and again. And again, could we just have everybody move forward, because we're going to need the space in the back. Come forward, please. Thank you. We're friendly up here. It's nice. Okay. Matirna Krishne Paratak Svatova Mito Bipadyeta Grahak Ratanam. Heard that one before? Of course. This is, I heard it 3 times yesterday with Prabhupada's recorded lectures. Prahlad Maharaj. Matirna Krishne. Now, Prahlad is a Vishnu Bhakta. Yes? He's a Vaikunthavasi. That's his state, his status, his character, his mood of love for the Supreme. It's a Vaikuntha mood. At the same time, and standing before him, the person, no, excuse me, this hasn't happened yet. Lord Nrsingadev comes to rescue him, but Krishna, Matir Na Krishna. One cannot be Krishna conscious. Matir, their mind cannot be absorbed in Krishna. Matir Na Krishna. Paratak Svatova Mitobi Padyeta Grahak Ratana. Because, there are 3 means or methods that one might, by one's effort, by the help of someone else, and by a gathering of elevated persons, a convention, a conference, a sangha, combination of those 3, Matirna Krishna. Matirna Krishna Paratak Svatova Metobi Padyeta Grahak Ratanam. Vrata, vow, commitment to the temporary, represented in this case by the word griha, which means home, but home means the whole program of the temporary and all that follows it. Need a place to be absorbed in the temporary. So it can be wherever it may be. It can be a palace, it can be a home, it can be an apartment, it can be under a tree, but there's some place. Even the birds, they have their nest. The bees have their hive, and the ants have their place. Where I stay in Gita Nagari, I don't know if some of you have seen the place. It's from the temple side. Behind the temple there's a hill, and up the hill and over the hill there's what was another farm, and now the farm has been subdivided and people live in houses up there. So it was a cleared field, and now it's a row of houses. So one of those houses is called the Institute House. Institute House meaning Bhakti Tirtha Swami disciples bought the house and wanted him to stay there in Gitanagari, a place from which he conducted the Institute IFAST, Institute for Spiritual Technology. It was how to help people solve their material problems by spiritual solutions. That was his, like, vision or anthem or mission statement. So the Institute House, if that's what it's called, has a big bay window. Windows. It's really nice. And then there's the valley, and then there's the farm, and then over there is another mountain. It's, the vista is fantastic. And all of this is to tell you, just outside the house, there's a little rise, a little bump, a little mound, and it's the home of some groundhogs. Now in America, you've heard of Groundhog Day, but you've maybe never seen one. But if you go to the Institute House, you can see them. Their home is in the ground. That's why they're called groundhog. And they hibernate like a bear. During the winter, they go down, and when it's not winter, they come up and look around, and if it's too cold, they go back down again and do more hibernation. Groundhog Day, right? So, in the morning, the distracted japa session for me is watching the groundhog come out, and the mama comes first. She stands on her hind legs, and she looks around with her front paws like this, the radar system. They're in danger out there, and then after some time the little ones come out, and they start going foraging for stuff to eat, what you do if you're a groundhog. So they have their griha also. All of that was. The human form of life is not advanced because we have air conditioning and heaters, and our home looks like this. But it's the same thing, just a polished, Prabhupada calls it, polished animal life. Griha vrata. Persons who are attached to such things, doesn't mean you should trash it, but you're attached to such things. Like happiness is da-da-da-da. It should look like this, and it's never satisfying, so it has to look like that, and never satisfying. So those who are in that position, the Griha Vrata personalities, they'll never become Krishna conscious. One has to let go of that mentality, that attachment to the enjoyer of the temporary. That's Krishna's position. It's his energy, and his energy means it's for him to enjoy. And if we have the opportunity to offer things to Krishna, so Krishna will enjoy. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't need a leaf or fruit or a flower. Doesn't need our nice cooked preparations. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't need incense and a ghee lamp. He doesn't need anything. The benefit goes to the person who's making the offering. And the offering is, when it's done not just mechanically, it's an offering of love. And by cultivating, even if it's initially mechanically, the potential is there to awaken love, not just duty, but one can become cleansed and become reminded or restored in the position of love. That's good for us. And then the reciprocation is commensurate with the offerings of love that we offer to Krishna. Then he becomes rightfully situated as the enjoyer of his Purusha, the enjoyer of his Prakriti. And we have a role to play. We offer what is already his to him with love and devotion. To such persons, Krishna reciprocates. Of course, Krishna reciprocates with every living entity, whether they do that or they don't do that. And he's equal to all, whatever their position is. He says so in Bhagavad Gita. Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dvesho sti na priyaha. I don't have dvesha towards anyone. I don't have like an attitude. Nor do I consider anyone priya. Like, oh, you're nice and you're bad. He's not like that. He reciprocates with our regard for him. It's hard for us to understand that because that's how we operate. So what's somebody that operates on a different platform? That's Vishnu. And for those who offer that which is Krishna's unto Krishna with love and devotion, he reciprocates with that mood too. They're a friend. They see him as their dearmost friend, and he sees them as his dear friend. He's just reciprocating with their affection for him. It's natural. Completely natural. It's not partiality. It's completely natural. Prabhupada gives this nice example. Supposing there's a mother and father, and they have multiple children. And they have affection for their multiple children. Very natural. And amongst the multiple children, one is particularly affectionate. And in reciprocation with that particularly affectionate child, they reciprocate with their particular affection. It's natural. It's nothing unnatural. Nothing partial. Now, Krishna's like that. Where do we get that? It's from Krishna. In the perfect stage, no flaws, no contamination, no modes of nature, no karma, no us and them, no partiality. So the Kumaras are remarking, by your mercy alone, we made this offense. Even with that, by your mercy, here you are. We're seeing your form. And we're understanding it's by your mercy that it's happened. We're feeling thrilled and very, very grateful. And so this is the bhakti principle. And then, naturally so, our founder Acharya, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Satarine, he is helping us be a little cautious or not fall into the trap of impersonalism, because the Supreme is a person. So it's fantastic. The Kumaras, Shukadeva Goswami also, previously were realized in the Brahman feature, and they left the Brahman feature to go beyond the Brahman feature, because what's beyond Brahman is Bhagavan, or the rest and support, the pratishta of Brahman is Krishna. Right in Bhagavad Gita, the last verse of chapter 14, the modes of nature is chapter 14, and then Krishna says that these modes of nature are resting in Brahman, and Brahman is resting in Krishna. He's the absolute truth in its final feature. So, unfortunately, the Kumaras are fortunate, but unfortunately, some persons, out of frustration with material existence and other motivators, fundamentally enmity or a negative regard towards Bhagavan, towards the personality of Godhead, they wish to enter into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. Often quoted, not in this case, but often quoted in this regard, is an important verse from Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham. Mukham means face. So please remove the Hiranmaya, the dazzling effulgence. That's the Brahman. Please remove that glaring effulgence of your Brahman feature, so we can see that face, the form of bliss. So the Kumaras are saying, yay, we're so kind, we're so fortunate, we're fully satisfied. And that's what's in the purport. The Brahman realization, it's certainly transcendently better than attachment to the temporary. But it's not a position of full satisfaction. Aruya krichena param padam tada patantyudo. One will come down from that position because one has not taken shelter. Avishuddha buddhaya. One's intelligence has not become sufficiently purified to take shelter of the personal feature, and so that not sufficient sense of happiness, one comes back again to activity, because the natural state is activity. Why are we active? It's our natural state to be active. Souls are active. Well, what if you're not a soul? Well, that's an interesting proposition. We are a soul. But if you're a Buddhist, no soul. And if you're impersonalist, no soul. What are you? If you're a Buddhist, you're nothing. And if you're an impersonalist, you're Brahman. What does Brahman do? Nothing. Just exist, sat. And the happiness is the mitigation of the misery, but that's not the positive, it's not sufficient positive happiness so that one comes back down again. And then the Paramatma realization, the yogis. You know, yogis that can see the super soul, that's way up there. But their understanding of what it is that they're seeing has a whole range of what they're understanding. And if you're a follower of Patanjali Yoga, your understanding is you merge with Paramatma. You become Paramatma, one with Paramatma. And that's where this notion, it's one of the places where the notion of it's all one. It's right in his writings. He accepts the Paramatma. I was surprised when I came to understand that. He accepts Paramatma. And the goal is to become one with Paramatma. Gee, how's that? Well, that's the goal of yoga. Ask Patanjali. So if you're a follower of the Patanjali yoga system, that's the goal. The purport is saying that's also not sufficient. There's a degree of happiness or spiritual pleasure to see the supersoul, but then the personal feature is beyond that. And so the Kumaras are understanding. Wow. And in the text it says, those that are not sufficiently intelligent, they don't understand this. I'll read it again. Your supreme eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons. But we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it. So where does the fortune come from? From the Kumaras, it came from Lord Brahma. One needs to be a recipient of good fortune to become fortunate. One receives bhakti from one who has bhakti. Then we become fortunate. That's transcendental fortune, not the other kind, the temporary material kind. Ashirvad. please give your blessings that my daughter will find a nice husband. Please give your blessings that my mother who's ill gets over her illness. You know, common. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wishing that your mother gets over her illness, but that's not the good fortune. That's not the fullness of the benediction that Brahma gave to the Kumaras, and that consummated with their seeing the personality of Godhead face to face and interacting with him, seeing his form, the two things mentioned in the previous verse, and the fragrance of his feet decorated by tulsi buds. We discussed tulsi the other day. Unfortunate and less intelligent. Anatmanam is the less intelligent word, and that's what's highlighted in the purport. The particular word used in this connection is anatmanam, signifies those who have no control over the mind and senses. There's atmanam and anatmanam. So to be intelligent, to be intelligent, there has to be control of the mind. A sign of intelligence is there's control of the mind. The other kind of intelligence, where the mind is not controlled, where one speculates, that's in the purport, that's an indicator of one is not intelligent. Intelligence directs the mind. So it works both ways. We make efforts to control the mind. That's meditation. In discussing the yoga system commonly in colleges, students don't know what yoga is other than asanas and pranayama, and that's yoga. What else is there? So when the picture opens up and it's a bigger picture, even the asanas and pranayama is part of a system that's all about meditation, fixing the mind on Vishnu. And for that matter, all the yoga systems require fixing the mind. Even material progress, you can't materially progress without the mind being somewhat controlled. So you've got a goal, get money, there's a goal, or become an Olympic athlete, there's a goal, or, social and political activism, work towards gun control, or, get somebody in position as a president besides Donald Trump. So there's a goal. And so mind becomes focused on the goal. And you marshal this and that. The intelligence drives that one. But it's, the mind isn't steady. The material energy certainly isn't steady. And the intelligence is not steady. But it's natural to have a goal. So supposing your goal is the lotus feet of Vishnu or Krishna, then that's buddhi. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupi te. That's what real buddhi is, real intelligence is. So those are this grihavrata persons. They're not going to reach that because they're into the temporary and being the enjoyer of the temporary, and that's it. If there's some piety in the picture, that's good. It just helps with the Grihavrata program. You accumulate piety so that you can prosper, dharma, artha, so that you can enjoy the temporary, kama. And then comes the moksha program. So the Kumaras they were already in that impersonal moksha program, they were already there, and they went beyond it. This is the Bhagavatam's message. It's encouraging us to go beyond that conception, because that conception, one more time, is less fortunate or unfortunate and less intelligent. Unfortunate because the place of shelter is blocked. There's some wrong conception that Krishna is a covered state of Brahman. And then when the covering is removed, like our covering is removed, voila. Krishna is Brahman, we're all Brahman. There's no individual soul, there's no super soul, all there is Brahman. Homogeneous Brahman, that's all there is. Ta-da! And that's reality. Get used to it, Prabhus, because that's the reality. All there is Brahman, there's nothing else, and that's the goal. So be happy, because that's reality. We had this little discussion at the program yesterday where one of the students had that idea. He got that idea from Google Guru. He was reading Google stuff. And, it's not uncommon, it's common. Google's got everybody's attention. And the people that fill up Google are people that are speculators. Commonly. It's not really a forum for disciplic succession. It's a forum for speculators, and historians and people that have that disposition. Therefore, the devotees need to be proactive that is, join the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and propagate Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam's message. We have to live it, and we also have to propagate it or distribute it. Now, propagate has its negative connotations for some people. Hey, you're pushing your ideas on other people. We're giving an opportunity. And, by the way, who isn't pushing ideas? The whole education system is idea pushing, without going into it too much. There are things that are okay, and there are things that are not okay in textbooks. And God's not okay. So we push the other one. And if God comes in the picture, we push it out. Because that's the way it is. The intellectuals and the secular government, and that's just the way it is. Too bad. And don't push another option, another perspective, because that's not okay. Anyway, I've got some problems with that policy. It's accelerating the degradation of our society in a systematic manner. Very unfortunate. Therefore, we require, at all levels, Komara Acharat Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataniha, we require spiritual training and education for everyone. And, there's opposition, or like an example, swimming upstream in the Ganges. Even if you're a good swimmer, you end up going downstream because the current is fast. Even if you're a good swimmer, I've tried it. Got to be careful. You can you're swept away and see you later. People drown in the Ganges because of that. So the devotees that take bath in the Ganges in Mayapur, they're advised, don't go very deep, because you could end up, drowned. And it happens. Not just downstream, but you can end up drowning. So, we have families families generally means there's children, and children mean they get exposed to the current that's moving downstream. So our families, parents, and the community have a wonderful service of helping their child navigate the swiftly moving current called parenting and awakening dormant Krishna consciousness and giving resources and support, ideally through the community and, the extended community, the sangha of devotees here and there, to help that spirit soul reach Krishna in a rapidly accelerating Kali Yuga degradation program all around us. And it's not just in this country. It's Kali Yuga all over. So the Bhagavatam is specifically the medicine, the Vyasadeva inspired medicine, directed by Narada, further refining that medicine to be the antidote for that, the disease of Kali. Take shelter. Which you're all doing. That's why you're here. So any discussion? Chapter 15. Yes.
This is kind of a review question.
Kind of a
review.
A review.
Regarding our discussion on Wednesday morning about verse 47.
Regarding what?
Verse 47.
47, okay.
I remember in that purport and in that context, one of the form of achieving material liberation is the hankering for an association with Krishna.
Yeah, that's okay.
In that context, it's characterized as a form of material liberation.
Well, so what's your question?
So, I was a little disturbed when I first read that, because I see from within it's also a will to be associated with Krishna.
Okay.
And it is so natural that I don't even think there's a hidden purpose behind that. And so when I read that for the first time, I felt a little bit discouraged.
So no, say it again. So you spoke quickly and I didn't catch it. The last part, not the whole thing. Just the last part.
The last part is I felt disturbed when reading that because I see some will.
Will?
Yes.
Will, a volition.
Yes, I'm also willing to associate in a sense.
Well, so what's the nature of the disturbance? I'll say something and see if this hits the target of what your disturbance is. What's wrong with wanting to be in the spiritual presence? Look at the Kumaras, they're saying how fortunate they are. So we're supposed to, are we supposed to not want that? Because if we want that, we're lesser than those that don't want that, so we should not want that. Is that it? Yes? Okay. A few things. the highest position, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes in Shikshastakam is, you can do with me whatever you like. Right? So if my position is, I don't want you to do with me what you like, here's my checklist of what I want. That's the statement. Now, should we want? Yes, we should want. If that's what Krishna wants. But if he wants, he cannot be present before me. That doesn't mean I don't want him to be present before me. I subordinate my will to his will. That's the message. I want. But if he wants, then I subordinate my will to what he wants.
So we're flexible.
Yes. It's a teaching that we want. You know, they're in the conditioned stage and in the liberated stage. So the conditioned stage, Prabhupada explains, in the beginning, it's really good. It's necessary that we want to go back to Godhead. We should want to leave behind the temporary and go to the eternal. We should want to be with Krishna. In the mature stage, Krishna can do with me whatever he likes. That doesn't mean in the liberated stage, I don't want to. This or that, I don't care. I want to, but if he wants, I subordinate that want to his want. That's the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu position. What I want is your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth, because Mama Janmani Jamanishwari Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki. Ahaituki. Hetu means cause. Causeless. Unmotivated and uninterrupted. Ahaituki apratiyata yayatma suprasidati. So, like Prahlad says, you're the master, I'm the servant, there's nothing else between us. What else is there? There's nothing else. So certainly Prahlad wants to be, and certainly the Kumaras want to be, and certainly we should want to be, and that the gopis want to be. The residents of Vrindavan want to be with Krishna, seeing Krishna in his presence. And sometimes he arranges something else. It's not like they lose, okay, whatever they want. But they subordinate their desire to his want. Okay. Yes, back there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. A person who want to chant but they are unable to focus on the holy name.
When you're not able to focus on the holy name.
Yes, Maharaj. For a person, they want to chant but they are unable to focus on the holy name.
Who's they? Speak for yourself.
No, Maharaj, it's not for me. I'm asking for someone.
What, you were able to fix your mind? Then you teach them how to fix their mind. It's for all of us.
Yes, Maharaj. But they are having difficulty.
Not only they, you. That's
Yes.
not just they. I'm purposefully speaking this way. I understand your question. There's someone who's seeking your support and help and guidance. But so you're asking on their behalf.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
So
But I want to edit.
Yes, Maharaj. Even me too, I do have the same.
Not just I have the right, it's a fact. It's a fact because if you were there, the response of this person who's asking would flow. We're not there.
My
So-
question is, Maharaj, because they feel very much agitated. Is it okay to do some other forms of meditation?
Why? And the agitation will go away? Some other form? Why? What would be the reason?
Because they asked me this.
And I'm answering.
They told me this, Maharaj, because they are willing to do some other kind of meditation.
And I'm responding.
With the holy name, they are unable to focus on it. That's what they told me. Then I...
Just keep trying.
Okay.
Any other meditation is going to have the same issue, the restless mind, and focusing on something. Now, I'm speaking strongly. A fallback position is, well, if you can't do that, do this. Chapter 12, Bhagavad Gita. If you can't do that, do this. If you can't do this, do the other thing. If you can't do the other thing, do another thing. But so I'm sticking to, there isn't a better. If you go to another form of meditation, it's the same restless mind, the same distraction. But if you can't do this, do that. The difficulty with that kind of response, depending upon the person, is that's where their faith goes. The problem is aversion to Krishna. It's not the process. Medical research shows, and other forms of research show, the most effective form of meditation is through sound. So someone can fix their mind more easily in a less effective system of meditation. If they can't do this, do that. That's a fallback. So, but there isn't a better. It's not only there's that you can. It's also you can reach the goal more directly instead of indirectly. But if the directly is something their spirit is just not willing, for whatever the reason, then okay. But it's not going to get you to where you want to go. It's going to be less effective. So better to have the more effective. Okay? Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I would suggest they step back, hit the pause button, and consider how they're going about and the resources they're bringing to mantra meditation, rather than another process of meditation, please. The mood and the internal regard mood of service is directly recommended. Well, how do I do that? So there's always, anyway, do a refresh on how I'm going about it. Try experiment this way, that way, the other way. There's many, and find something that resonates and do that. Yes.
We know that our free will is acting with the soul's choices, which is a mix of both material and spiritual desires. So, how to realize or how to awaken or understand Paramatma's guidance in relationship with our own free will?
Well, how to understand it,
Yes.
how to understand Paramatma's and guidance
Yes.
in relation to our own free will.
Yes.
Well, it takes some purification to understand it. And it takes some, in the higher position, it takes devotion, or wishing to be connected with. But, that's a free will choice. So for you, or for anyone, the degree to which we have the tendency that we have for service can be connected to a service to Krishna, then the free will choice can be then more aligned. The weaker is the less aligned. So the more aligned, the more realization of that connection, or the link between the individual free will and Supersoul. He's broadcasting, hey, both within her heart, in Bhagavad Gita, his own words, through those representing him, hey. And we got another channel, the mind channel, the modes of nature and stuff channel. So the free will is directed over there instead of, it needs, the process is purification, primarily through sound, and through sound then the practical activities that we do, directing them, resonating with that sound, in harmony with that sound, that instruction, that message. Okay? Okay. All the way in the back.
Maharaj, I have two questions. One is about the blessings.
Go ahead.
The blessings, knowing also myself that I'm not, don't have the capacity to do something. So seeking for blessings for that purpose.
Yes.
Is,
we do that naturally anyway, and so it's just what the target is. So not just to do it nicely, and so that the connection with Krishna is more secure, more substantial.
depends on the mood.
Huh?
It depends on the mood when we are
Yes,
seeking for the
yes.
blessings.
It's a relationship with Krishna. Our life is a relationship with Krishna. And things happen depending upon that relationship. Yetamam prapadyate.
Another one is that as you're talking about Madhya Krishna, so I have a desire of that always thinking about Krishna and in every aspect, day-to-day life, whatever I'm doing. But
Your
the
voice is soft.
conditioned nature is so strong that even sometimes it so happens that the work has to be done, so hurrying up and forgetting about keeping something in hearing and about Krishna
Good.
while doing the work.
Good.
So I feel after that I feel so bad.
Why?
No, because I forgot to hear about, I'm just rushing to do the work, whatever I'm doing. But when I forget, in this meantime, while I'm doing the work, I have a habit of hearing, but when I forget, I feel so bad about it that I feel that didn't happen as a service to Krishna.
That's good that you feel that. And that feeling that will be impetus to Not just, there's no problem with doing something swiftly, but it's learning the art of doing things swiftly with focus upon Krishna. So sometimes and sometimes it's more relaxed, sometimes it's more intense. The demand upon our time and our attentiveness. Sometimes it's easier to forget Krishna when you're more relaxed. Sometimes it's easier to remember Krishna when it's more intense. And sometimes it's more difficult to remember Krishna when it's more intense. We're focused on getting something done. So it's so, to recognize that you were not mindful, that's good. And to not feel good about it, that's good. And then don't stay there. Impetus to then go forward being mindful. Manmana, we cultivate. The power that helps or facilitates realignment to remembering is attachment to Krishna. We're not there yet. So cultivate. Krishna should be pleased. That's Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. That's what's saying the same thing in Sanskrit. Krishna should be pleased. And that will bring the remembrance of Krishna. Attachment to Krishna. Yes? It's natural. You're attached to your children. You think about them all the time because you're a mom. The good fortune, ill fortune. You're thinking about them because you're attached to them. You're a good mother. And your parenting will be more elevated by attachment to Krishna. So let me become attached to Krishna. That's good. And that you're not there yet. Okay, recognize it, it's good. If some regret is good, don't stay there. Go with, the cultivation going forward. Continue and continue and continue, and you'll get there. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.